afternoon, good evening. I just wanted to let you know that this video is going to be a little bit hodgepodge, a little bit strange, a mix of different clips, and I hope that it's not too difficult to follow and enjoy. We're going to start off with the winner of the giveaway of my stitch markers, and then I will talk a little bit about my progress in my Knit 3 Words Challenge design. And then I will show you 2 shawls that I have completed in the past year, which I think are really beautiful patterns and yarn that I wanted to share with you all. And then I will talk about a plant friend. Today specifically will be the linden tree or the lime tree or the basswood. Okay, so sit tight and I hope that you enjoy. Thanks for bearing with me. Hello everyone! It is very windy. It is extremely noisy because of this symphony of insects that I've got going on here. I wanted to come and record because I have a giveaway going and tomorrow is the last day of the giveaway to enter. So I'm going to leave the winner here, and yeah, unfortunately I don't think I can record a whole video talking about the challenge or anything else, but I hope that you're all doing well and I will see you soon. Ciao! Ya es la hora del sorteo. It is giveaway time. Cerrando los ojos, closing my eyes, good luck. And the winner is... ¡Tersan! ¡Felicidades! Aquí van tus marcadores, your stitch markers. Felicidades. Congratulations. Oh, it's very hot, but I wanted to show you the advances on my challenge. So it's been growing this way and I'm super excited. I still have 64 grams of my second skein. So really with 100 grams, like with one fingering weight skein of yarn, you really could finish this. But I wanted to use both skeins and I wanted it to be really big and wonderful. So I'm really excited and I'll be back soon to tell you more about my challenge. You can see how it's growing, and I just have to say that I absolutely love putting on a progress keeper, which is something I never used to do, but this cowl is really all I've been working on for a while, and this is what I got done since Monday, which is really nothing because today's already Thursday, but it's growing and it's beautiful and I love it. Okay, so here I am in the comfort of my home where there's no wind or no insects, and I thought I could tell you a little bit about 2 shawls that I completed in 2020, I would say, yes. Maybe the other one a little bit earlier. So this first one is the Forest Maiden lace shawl. And this is a shawl that I made for my dear friend's wedding, which unfortunately has been postponed indefinitely. We don't know when it will be, but at the moment, no. But it is a beautiful lace pattern, and this is the first time I did such an intricate lace like this. And one thing that I learned was that unlike color work, you cannot separate the lace repetitions with stitch markers because the repetitions tend to move, unlike in color work where you could block it off with markers. So I learned that the hard way. I had to start this over a few times, but then I figured it out and I took out the markers and yeah. There are definitely a few mistakes in there, but I bet you can't see them. So, yes, this is the Forest Maiden Lace shawl. So I will leave the information below, but I highly recommend this pattern, and this designer has so many beautiful patterns of this style, like very, very intricate lace. This is one of the smaller ones. Oh, and the yarn that I used is alpaca silk. It's a yarn base that I was able to get from my friend Inka, and obviously it's undyed, and yes, it was a beautiful project. Okay, and this is another shawl that I knit probably at the end of 2019 maybe. And this is a shawl that I knit with 2 skeins of sport weight yarn from Tintica. And actually, this was from her kit where you can dye your own wool with madder root. And so you get the kit with the instructions and everything, and you are able to dye your own yarn and make a beautiful shawl like this one. And this pattern is by Maria of Ninja Chickens, and the pattern is called Sacred Geometry. And I absolutely loved the name and the idea of the pattern. This is the first time that I had done lace, like at the bottom, and these cables. I mean, these are cables that you see that make like the roots or the branches of a tree. Actually, towards the end of the pattern, I started inventing my own cables because it was really difficult to, I'm not really good at following patterns, and I had learned from the beginning of the pattern how it was working, and I saw what was happening on the fabric, and so I just started making up my own roots and branches. And it was a lovely experience, and I loved the pattern, and I loved the yarn. So, yes, that's another one. Also, I just wanted to say that I'm extremely excited to announce that my stitch markers are available on the website www.tintica.com. And it's such a special thing for me to see my creations alongside such beautifully, naturally dyed yarns and kits for crafters who want to start naturally dyeing on their own, with everything that you would need, from the plant material to the mordant to the instruction booklet and the yarn, to start your natural dyeing adventure. And now my stitch markers are there. So don't worry, because in the future there will be plenty more giveaways of the stitch markers. But if you wanted to have your semi-precious stones to work with right away, then you could head on over to the website. So check it out. And as always, I wanted to come and talk about a plant that I love. Today I wanted to talk about the linden tree, or the lime tree, or the basswood. It has many names. The Latin name or the scientific name would be Tilia. Well, the one that we have here in Granada is Tilia vulgaris. And it's in England they call this the common lime, but it does not give lime fruit. It is the linden tree, as we refer to it in the States. I'm sure that your city has a Linden Street or a Linden Boulevard like we do in New York. And here in Europe, here in my city, all over the squares or the parks, we have linden trees lining the streets. They're everywhere. And probably close to your home you can find a linden tree. They're really easy to spot around May or June when they are in flower or blooming, and there are so many bees around them, and it just smells so wonderful. And they have these like asymmetrical heart-shaped leaves, which are really sweet. And actually, I just found out that the tilia or linden is in the Malvaceae family, so like the marshmallow or hibiscus. So these plants are all in the same family, which is interesting because they all have the same mucilaginous characteristics, and yes, and I also found out that you can eat the leaves of the linden tree, and they're really, I brought some home the other day and added them to my fruit salad, which you might think is strange, but if you chop them up into little pieces and mix them around with your fruit, it was absolutely delicious. Um, and and yes, so linden is a wonderful anti-inflammatory. The flowers can be made into a long infusion. I typically make a long overnight infusion of my linden flowers that I have harvested and dried. And the fun part about linden is you can do the first infusion overnight, and the next day you can rebrew the spent plant material. So you can take that plant material out of the infusion that you've previously made, and you can put some more water in it and bring it up to boil and let it sit for another 4 hours, and you will extract even more of the mucilaginous properties of the flower. So that's really nice. And yes, so linden is wonderful for its antioxidants, for its ability to relax and to soothe not only your mind, but your internal mucous membranes that might be inflamed or irritated. It is just a very soothing plant. It's wonderful for digestion, for your lungs. If you feel like you might be getting a cold or something, this is a wonderful ally to have. And I just think it's such a beautiful tree. I found out that there was a tree that was planted in 1618 in Stockholm, Sweden, and it lived 381 years until a storm blew it down in 1999. But 381 years, so that's amazing. I also learned that the linden is really easy to transplant. So even if the tree is like 9 or 10 years old, I've heard that it takes very well to moving it from one place to another. So that's nice to know if you ever need to move around your linden. And I hope that you can find one somewhere around your home and enjoy. Also, I would be interested to know if you know about the Greek myth with the linden tree. There's a Greek myth. We can talk about that in another video. And also, I wanted to know if anyone out there knows what can be done with the fruits of the linden tree. So the flowers are in May and June, but then towards the fall, there are fruits, and I think that they can be maybe preserved in a similar way to capers or fermented. I've also heard other people grinding them up and using them as like a chocolate substitute. So I'd be curious if anyone out there knows anything about the fruits or the seeds of the linden tree. Okay, so that's it. I hope you have a wonderful day, week, month, and talk to you soon.